Hey guys, AntCap24 here, coming back with another video. Today we're going to do something different than we haven't done before. We're going to get a little bit away from Madden, but stay in with the football. And we're going to do a series called Fantasy Football Friday, and this is where I go ahead on Friday and give you my upcoming lineup for what I'm going to be using for my daily fantasy lineup on Sunday. Basically, if you know my personality, I go ahead and I research everything. I know every little detail. When I do my videos, you guys see that I look at things a little bit differently and whatnot, and I'm the same way when it comes to fantasy football. I've had success all my life doing fantasy, whether it be friendly leagues, whether it be money leagues, whether it be fantasy daily lineup, and I thought this would be fun to be able to have interaction with the subscribers here on YouTube and be able to see what you guys think about what my lineup's going to be, post it on Friday, and get some input, and, you know, definitely see if this is an early draft, and if somebody can convince me that there's some, a better play, then, I think it could be helpful for everybody that watches this channel. So, I use a website where you go ahead and you draft players in order to be king. And I want to make sure that you understand, where these values are coming from. And I want to make sure that you guys see that this is my early draft, like I said, on Friday. This isn't supposed to be something that I want people to get in wars about who to start, who not to start. But I think it's just going to be fun to really see what people's opinion are. I obviously have a good insight on my favorite team, the Falcons. And I'm sure if you have insight on a player that might be a sleeper, that you might want to say that this is a better value guy than maybe what I've got. I think everybody could benefit from that. So let me go ahead and show you now what my lineup's going to be for this Sunday. And this is, like I said, is going to be tentative. And what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll post my real lineup on Sunday. Sometimes it'll change, sometimes it won't, depending on what the feedback of the fans are. But I want to make sure that on a Sunday morning I'll repost it. So anybody that wants to follow and see how well we do, I'll post the results on a Tuesday morning. And I'll go ahead and show you exactly what we've done, and you guys can follow the series throughout the year and see how it goes. So here it is, guys. First and foremost, I kind of want to explain why I picked the guys that I did. At the values, obviously you have to stay within a salary cap, and I put the values of what they are, and kind of go from there. So my quarterback this play is going to be Matt Ryan. I know everyone's going to say you're a Falcons fan, why Matt Ryan? Let me tell you a little bit about Matt Ryan in his home openers over his career. He's got a 17 touchdown to 2 interception ratio over his career life with his home openers. His last 3 home openers, he has averaged 347 yards, had 7 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and he's 7-0 in home openers. All those stats to me, I know Matt Ryan, he comes out on fire that first game. Definitely something that entices me to use him. Not only that, he's playing against Philadelphia, high-paced offense. I think Bradford is a great play in this game. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. If you look at the odds with Vegas, it is the highest over-under out there this week, and I think that's going to be something that you're going to be able to kind of bank on, that this is going to be a high-scoring game. The reason why I stayed away from Bradford and went with Ryan is only because I think that the Eagles have a little bit more opportunity to punch it in with their running backs than the Falcons do. We're going to be starting Tevin Coleman as the starter. Devonta Freeman is still a little bit banged up with his hamstring. I just don't see those red zone plays going to our running back. If Tevin Coleman gets in the end zone, it's probably going to be something of a break through variety, wherever that may be, but probably not going to be something that we're going to get, something that you're going to punch it in from the side. So that's why I went with Matt Ryan. He's a 7,500 in this website, and I feel that he is a pretty decent value. I kind of thought about going with Tyrod Taylor in order to go with a lower guy and kind of boost it up, but after I thought about it, and I really think this is a 3-touchdown play with Matt Ryan. I think that he's going to be able to get, between a 300 and 350 yard mark. I'll probably throw in 1 pick as a fail-safe, and with those numbers, you're going to get your 20 to 25 points in what you want out of your quarterback in this league. Now, I like to do pairings. And what that means is basically I like to use a wide receiver that I feel that if you have a really good matchup, I want to see that you go ahead with the wide receiver as well. So I went with Julio Jones as my wide receiver as well. He's the highest one. I think he's going to be primed for a breakout year. This is that one defense in which I feel like is not solidified yet as far from a secondary. You've got Byron Maxwell is not a first game with the Eagles that he's going to be most likely going to be on Julio Jones as the main coverage guy, and I think it's a good matchup for Julio. I think he can be able to use his speed to be able to get around, and Maxwell's coming from Seattle with a little bit more press. We'll see how he does in a different type environment with out that great safety help and that ability to shade coverage his way with Richard Sherman on the other side. So I really think in that scenario, I like the play of Julio Jones. Now I'm staying in that game with my third pick. My third pick would be another wide receiver, Jordan Matthews. He was a 7,200, which is a pretty decent cost for receiver, but I do believe that, because this game's going to be a high-scoring game, he is the main threat. He does line up in the slot, in which right now is kind of a position of concern for the Falcons right now. Who's going to be playing in the slot? Is it going to be Robert Alford? I believe he's going to end up lining up on the outside, leaving Phillip Adams in the slot, which I think Jordan Matthews will have some good success there. I'm hoping that, from a Falcon fan that doesn't have too much success, but sometimes, as long as we win at the end of the day, you got to go with what makes sense, not what your heart feels. The next pick, I really like the value in Davante Adams. 4,400 is a great value for a receiver that's going to be a number 2 receiver. They're going against Chicago, who's got a whole revamped defense as it is. They went from a 4-3 to 3-4. I feel like that their front seven's not going to be able to generate a whole lot of pass rush on Aaron Rodgers, and I think Aaron Rodgers has one of those games that he's going to be able to really have his will. I think Eddie Lacy is also going to have a good game. He'd be a good play in this type scenario, but I feel like I only went with one Green Bay Packer, and I think Davante Adams at 4,400 is a great value. Now, tight end Jordan Reed, 3,300. What I like about Jordan Reed is, one, he is a reception hog. He definitely gets a lot of receptions. He gets a lot of catches. And with the quarterback change right now, with Robert Griffin not getting the start, you're going to see that, especially with Miami's defense that he's going against, tight ends usually are a fail-safe to quarterbacks. Last time Jordan Reed was paired up with the starter, he had 9 looks, he had 7 receptions. That's the type of game I'm expecting him. If he gets a touchdown, it's a bonus, but at 3,300 for a tight end, I feel like the value that I want out of him, with Kirk Cousins being a nice relationship with that, I think that's where I wanted to go with that pick. Running backs, I went with Adrian Peterson, 7,700, going against San Francisco. San Francisco's going through pretty much a huge overhaul right now when it comes to their defense. AP's got a chip on his shoulder. Feel like he comes out in that first game, really wants to solidify it. I think that'll take some pressure off of Bridgewater. I kind of like what the Vikings are looking like this year, to be honest with you. They've got some nice secondary players to complement Peterson on offense. Johnson as a wide receiver really came up as late last year. You've got Mike Wallace to extend the field, so you really can't crowd the blocks anymore with Peterson. Bridgewater is a little bit better of a quarterback than he's had in the past. I really think Peterson's primed for a great year. Starting him week 1 in this fantasy daily lineup, and hope that he pays dividends there. Now, Doug Martin, it's a tough pick for me, to be honest with you. I hate the Bucs. I don't know if you guys know, I hate the Bucs. I hate the Saints. I hate the Panthers with a passion. I don't want to root with them. But I really liked what I saw out of Doug Martin in the preseason. He lost some weight. He's in a contract year. He's definitely needing to make a difference when it comes to putting himself out there to make some more money. He had a great couple seasons when he came out before he got injured, and I really think that he's back to form. I think with Jameis Winston versus Mariota this game, I think they're going to keep it a little bit more vanilla, keep the ball on the ground a little bit, get some screen passes to him, really be able to generate a little bit more action for him. I think that he is going to benefit from that. I think on the opposite side of the ball, I think Tennessee is going to be very similar to to the game plan that the Bucs are going to give. Let's not let our rookie quarterbacks get too much on their shoulders on the first game. Let's see if we can feel it out. I don't see that being too high scoring game, even though both defenses aren't, or historically last year weren't the best. Tennessee had one of the worst defenses against the run last year. I know they picked up Arakpo, but at the same time, I really like this value at 4,500 on Doug Martin, and that's why I went with him. Now my flex, again, it's a Panther. This is the one spot that I really am tugging back and forth with. I'd like to see if you guys have any suggestions on the 3,000 spot. And I can definitely move some people around. The Jets is my next defense that I can lower a little bit and put a 3,300 guy in there. And what I'm tugging here is between Corey Brown, who's going to be the starter for the Panthers. They go ahead and they lost Kelvin Benjamin. Devin Funchess is only going to be getting, I don't want to say limited snaps, but he's not slotted as a starter. You should probably see him in there in some, spread formations type deal. But you're going with Corey Brown and Teddy Ginn. Not too strong of a 1-2 punch for Carolina. They are going against Jacksonville, which does give them a little bit of a opportunity to, possibly not try to get too fancy with it. I'm hoping that I can get some stolen fantasy points through him being a starter this week at 3,000. A couple other options I was looking at. I was looking at Kamar Aiken for the Ravens. He's going to be starting. He's a 3,300. That would lower my defense, which I'm looking into possibly looking at that option because I really like what he brings as a number 2 over there. They do play Denver, which he's either going to go against one of those 2 cornerbacks that I'm not great. I don't feel great about that matchup, but I've seen him in action. He's a UCF alum. I used to go to UCF. I know he's a good player, and he's been coming up as of late. Been following his track. May go at a Kamar Aiken. I'm also looking at Tavon Austin against Seattle at 3,300. I feel like he is something that could definitely be a surprise start in this situation against Seattle. I think that with Nick Foles, especially with how he played in the Eagles' offense, is kind of get the ball out of your hand. Tavon Austin does that out of the slot. I think this could be a little bit more. All reports from their offensive corner saying he's having a comeback year as far as getting him back to where they kind of projected him. So he may be a start as well. But I'm really mulling over those 3. Possibly trying to rearrange it a little bit. I like Austin Hearns for Jacksonville as a possible start. And kind of look at it from a little bit of perspective. Give me your thoughts on that. Defense, I like the Jets against Cleveland. I think that the Jets got a little bit better defense this year with their additions. I think that there's not a huge threat from the Browns as far as the passing game go. You got Dwayne Bowe, which I think would be a pretty good matchup for Cromartie. And then you got Revis that basically can stay on his side, that will shut down that end. I really feel like that this is a nice matchup for the Jets to really be able to wreak some havoc for the Browns that are really still trying to find their identity with their quarterback. Luke Manown, if he comes back, and definitely has a year that he comes back from what he did with Chicago. This may be one of those deals. I think that he didn't have a good year with the Bucs last year, but at the same time I think he's a little bit better than what he showed there. So we'll see how that goes for the Browns. But all in all, guys, this is what fits under the cap that they have. This is my preliminary lineup. Like I said, I want to put it out there to the public on Friday. Let me see your thoughts. Let's get some chat up there. Let me know what you think. Who should move? Do you have somebody in your back pocket you think that should be a swap out? I was thinking Brandon Cooks instead of Jordan Matthews, so I don't have to root for Matthews in that game. But I still think Matthews might be the better play, even though I think Brandon Cooks is going to be an amazing player for the Saints this year, as without a fail-safe with Graham there as a tight end. I think he becomes that slot receiver that really can be able to help out Drew Brees and that type of thing. With CJ Spiller out, he might not be able to have that dump-off pass. So I think that might be a good play as well. I'm tossing some things around, so let me get your thoughts. Let me know what you think so we can go ahead and have about a day or two of of tossing this lineup around, and we'll see what we go. So I appreciate you guys following us. Let me know if you like this type of series that we'll do here, so we can kind of have some more interaction. Follow what it is. If the lineup does well and people are winning, that's even great. Like I said, I've had very high success on these type websites before. A little bit of strategy I like to do is I only do 50-50. Enter my stuff up in the 50-50 contest. I feel like it gives you the best bet to win. All you have to do is be slightly better than average. And I also like to do it if you're planning on spending $50, spread it out. Enter yourself in, 8 to 10 contests of $5 to $10 each. Something to that variety to where you give your odds a little bit better. You put the same lineup in, you just put it in different ones. If you put it in a 10-person lineup, you basically can come against 6 people that just picked an amazing team. But if you use your odds to your favor, I like to try to do as more people as possible. Put them in the smaller ones, but do more contests. So depends what your sweet spot is. If you just want to do $10, obviously I'll put in 2 5s. If you want to put a little bit more money into it, like I said, divide it up. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Put it in 50-50s. That's the most success that I've had over the years. And I'm probably around 80 to 85% winning percentage when it comes to that way of doing it. You'll get I'll put my stuff in 7 to 10 contests, and I usually win about 8 of those 10. And sometimes I win them all because I have a great one. Sometimes I don't have as much success that day, but over the long haul, my record has definitely been very positive when it comes to this. So I figured I'd go ahead and show you what my thoughts are on this week 1. Obviously, I like to wait until Sunday to put it in, due to the fact that I want to make sure that there are no injuries that pop up, no hidden things that we find out on right before game time. So that's why here's a preliminary, and we go from there. All right, appreciate the follow, guys. Let me know what you think. Love to see the comments. Love to see what you thought. If you got that one guy, like I said, from your team that you know he's going to do it, tell everybody. And kind of want to go from there. So appreciate it again, guys. Hit that like, that subscribe. Have a good day.